How's it going?
Good.
Hello.
Good. So before we leave that, how much longer we got to have Jason still on board before we all have to pull out our tissue and start
End
crying?
of end of March, he said.
Yeah.
March 31st, but I'll
Okay.
still be around.
All right. So we just get to march through this and make it Groundhog Day and just keep going.
There's a
Uh,
deep
I think
red.
are we recording now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, no.
So welcome everybody. It's Thursday, February 19th, Recreation Committee meeting. We have myself, Councilman McBride, Councilwoman Scarden, Councilman D'Alessandro, Councilman Waring. I think that's it. Oh, there's the
Mayor's
mayor,
on,
Mayor
but I'm gonna
Cog.
walk
Yep.
in the chambers right now. Sorry, I'm late.
Okay. Got it. And Mayor Cogswell. So we'll just go ahead and bow our heads for an time of prayer really quick to open it up. Okay. Okay, so we'll kick it off and we'll just start with anyone want to make a motion on approving the minutes.
Move for approval.
second.
Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Hearing no nays. It's approved. Now open up to public participation. We have anybody lined up?
There's one person lined up in person and one online comment.
Okay. We'll do two. So one person to speak, you said. So we'll do 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Good afternoon. Chris Maloney here on behalf of Charleston Rugby. I'm here again to request the Recreation Committee engage us in understanding our proposal for use of Coach Stanley Pippen Park so that we can move forward. I'd like to congratulate any new council members who may be present. I see a couple new faces. For those of you unfamiliar, this park has no amenities, no restroom facilities, no access to running water, no seating for participants, nothing. It is not a user-friendly facility, but it is the only park where the city will allow us to play rugby to meet the requirements of the sport. When we rent this facility, we line the field, we supply all necessary equipment, we even remove our own trash. Our proposal is simple. We're asking to invest in this facility to provide basic amenities that improve user experience for everyone that chooses to use the park. In exchange, we only ask for a few guaranteed days of use every year. We've been asking the city support for over 40 years, if not now, when? There's over a dozen rugby organizations in Charleston, from youth rugby to high school to college to adult clubs. We have more rugby players in Charleston than anywhere else in the state, but we don't have a facility for rugby. We have the parks, we have the space to use it. We're just asking for an arrangement so that we can grow the sport of rugby in Charleston and in the state of South Carolina. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thanks, Mr. Maloney. Appreciate it. I did see your email and read your documents. Very helpful. Okay. Old business. We have no old business to talk about, doesn't look like. So for new business, and by the way, this is my first time chairing anything, so if I mess something up or skip something, please jump in and correct me here. For new business, item A, discussion regarding playgrounds slated to be updated, requested by Councilwoman Scarden.
Good afternoon, everybody. So Councilman Rosegard and I had talked, and I have a map of a GIS map that the GIS folks helped prepare, and it is a map of every playground in the city labeled with the last year it was replaced. And so I'll share that around via email. It's you'll be interested to see how many playgrounds we have. It's over 50. And I was talking about it earlier in 2011. When we started replacing playgrounds, there were many old playgrounds from the 80s and 90s, and there was not a playground replacement program. So we've been creative over the years through public-private partnerships with the Parks Conservancy, through grants, through the PARD grants, and city funding. And we're pretty much through the entire inventory of playground equipment. We expect about 15 to 20 years per system. And one thing that we have noted since 2011, the cost of playground equipment has skyrocketed, as with anything in the construction industry. So I will share that map around via email, and you can all look at it. And again, we've had to get creative over the years to get that work done, but it's definitely a powerful piece of the community.
Mr. Kronsberg, absolutely, Mr. Chairman, if I may, could you give just some general definition when you say replacement of parks or updating of parks? Generally speaking, that is playground equipment, occasionally returfing. Can you just give us a little bit more clarity on what that, generally speaking, that means? It's different for every park. I understand.
Playground, yeah. So the playground equipment is the physical equipment that the children play on. So that comes with the safety surfacing and the above grade equipment that you see. So it's yeah, that's kind of in a nutshell. Yeah.
Mr. Kronsberg, Mr. Chair, is it okay if I ask questions?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you mind letting us know the remaining playgrounds that need to be updated that were installed, I think in the 90s, you said?
So right now, and off the top of my head, we have, well, per the map here, Freddie Whaley is 1995, and then Brittlebank should be done this year, which is, again, it's a 90s, circa 90s equipment. So really it's those two, and old fire station number 9, which is the boxing gym, has a handful of equipment surrounding that building, little climbing structures. There's not a lot of space back there. So really it's Brittlebank will be happening this year. That's been quite a process because, and I had that in my other notes, we're having to permit that through the Army Corps of Engineers because it's in the former landfill cap, and there's a maintenance agreement about that landfill cap, and really there's household garbage 18 inches into the ground. So we've been designing and permitting through the agencies there. So again, yeah, Freddie Whaley and Rosemont, old fire station number 9, and Brittlebank.
And Stephen Washington?
Yeah, so Stephen Washington's on the list to get done this year. So yes, good point.
Do we have any updates on funding for Stephen Washington playground equipment?
I'm sorry.
Any funding updates on the playground equipment?
No, when I started, our playground maintenance budget was $35,000. It's up to $250,000 now. So we do try to get creative and replace an extra location each year. It gets challenging now with the cost of equipment. And Lori just reminded me, Mary Utsi at Orange Grove is under construction. That equipment was a relocated equipment with some older equipment. So that one's going to become a destination playground, if you will. Bridge Point over in Shadow Moss just got replaced, and through a donor assisted purchase, the equipment at Corinne Jones and Wagner Terrace is currently being replaced. So there's a lot happening right now and a little bit more to come.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Mr. Chairman,
Yeah, go ahead.
are there, I don't know how these usually work. Are there public input sessions for, say, Brittlebank, how that's getting designed and laid out and where in the park it's going?
So traditionally we'll work through the neighborhood associations for Brittlebank. Brittlebank was one of the city's first accessible playground locations. So we've been working with the vendor that designed the Park Circle Park up in North Charleston, which was pretty spectacular if you haven't seen it. So we pretty much have it designed, and really wasn't a neighborhood association to work with there, but it'll be a fully accessible and universally accessible playground equipment there. All state-of-the-art equipment and well designed.
Is it too late for public input, or Is that something you'd welcome? I don't,
And that one, we've been working on it for over a year.
yeah.
And so as park professionals and the playground vendors, we're pretty confident that what's been designed will be overwhelmingly positively received. So
I think it would be good though, just to Councilmember Alessandro's point. I mean, we should certainly circulate, if we've not already done so, the proposed design. The fact that it is one of the few fully accessible facilities in the city to the neighborhoods. It shouldn't be much of a departure except an improvement for what's there. It's not like it's changing location or anything like that. So it's just updating what is currently there, but letting them know and sending them the details if there's any feedback would be good to have, I would say.
yeah, we can send that out.
Yeah.
We'll work with communications to get that pushed out.
Mr. Chairman,
Yeah, go ahead, Councilman Waring.
yeah, thank you. Mr. Kronberg, the funding for Brittle Bank came from where?
The funding
Right.
was the general fund, and I believe reserves.
Let,
that
let me
one-
let me ask the question. I don't think Ms. Wharton is on this Zoom meeting, but we certainly get to answer it. Brittle Bank is in the TIF. Can we get monies out of the TIF to pay for Brittle Bank and maybe take some of the monies from the general fund and the reserves and put towards the playground over on James Island? Because obviously you can't take TIF funds that far away. It has to stay in the general locale. I'm just wondering if any thought was to, and we do have money in that TIF.
Yeah, Councilman Ware, and I'm happy to talk with Ms. Wharton about that. It certainly is in the TIF. I believe it would be absolutely a TIF eligible expenditure. And then as it relates to Stephen Washington, just for full background on that, I mean, there's been a lot of conversations about Stephen Washington, and I've met with the neighborhood on a couple of occasions out there. There's, just to be candid, there are groups that that represent the neighborhood that don't agree necessarily on what should be done. So we put together an allocation for them to give us what their priorities were. And that's basically the just how we're coming at the improvements that are being made. The one exception is relates to bathrooms. There was a request to put bathrooms in there. And if you all just will recall the issues we had at the municipal golf course putting bathrooms in, and then we just got updated pricing for proposed bathrooms at Allen Fleming, which were $1 million to put in bathrooms at Allen Fleming, which, you know, from our perspective, at least from my perspective, particularly like at Allen Fleming, where we're building a brand new rec facility within easy walking distance of those tennis courts, that's where we're not going to, I would not recommend spending $1 million for those bathrooms. And then same thing with Stephen Washington. While it would certainly be nice, we have the James Island Rec facility right down the road from it that is fully programmed with restrooms. And in terms of where your dollars go, you know, making sure that we have safe equipment, et cetera, was the priority there. So just giving some context on bathrooms in particular, because that has been and often is requested by residents, but I don't think they understand just how ridiculously expensive they are.
Yeah, that's why I agree. If I can follow up, Mr. Chairman, I was trying to get funding, basically. I heard there's no funding for Stephen Washington. My point is, if we got two pockets from which to draw, in this case, TIF monies for Brittlebank, Brittlebank can allow to continue, maybe even go a little bit further, versus coming out the general fund and reserves, and then those dollars can go elsewhere. In this case, Stephen Washington. But can you make a compromise to your point of the bathrooms? I agree with you 100%, not 99%. $1 million bathroom, wow, makes outhouses look reasonable again. But over at Peter Dimitri Park or Sunrise Park over on James Island, they have I almost say portables, a little bit better portables. I'm just wondering whether that could be somewhat of a compromise for the Washington Park. Stephen Washington versus none at all. Just trying to think out the box. That's all.
Yeah, the one at Dimitri is a pit type restroom like you would find in a state park. So it's just a little bit of a glorified porta potty. It gets pumped out and pressure washed weekly, and it's not anything I would recommend. But
yeah, but that's better than $1 million. I'm just saying it's better than spending $1 million. And at the end of the day, people are going to relieve themselves, especially guys, if there's a tree around. That's our reality. Anyway, thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Would it be possible to look into doing a similar pit that Demeter has at Stephen Washington, just knowing the amount of baseball games that are played there, the amount of young families that are there?
Again, it's possible. Stephen Washington is not heavily programmed by the city of Charleston. It is used by the town of James Island, and most of the surrounding area neighborhoods are town of James Island. We just happen to own that park. And so, again, and one other just thing with regards to these pits or portalets, wasn't sure we were going to get on this topic today, but the reality of it too is it's not just the cost of putting those in, but the routine staff maintenance to clean them is, to say, not a popular task for folks to do. And it is for every one of those things that we do, even portalets, it is a burden on staff, no question.
Any other comments or? Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
Mr. Chairman, I can remember when we had, how we ended up really getting the momentum to get funding for the bathrooms at Municipal. As a matter of fact, I'm looking behind Miss Garden right now. There's a pile of women in those chairs behind Miss Garden back in that little cloakroom back there. And they came and they basically told us about ourselves. You probably remember that, Mr. Kronsberg. We teaching little boys and little girls to use the bathroom behind trees. And somehow after that proper tongue lashing, we found the money. Okay, so we got some compromises, maybe not all the best, and you're right. Well, in college, I had a job cleaning bathrooms. So I worked my way up. I managed to work my way up. And I needed that job at the time. So I don't think doing nothing is the option. That's all I want to say. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Yep. Councilman Shealy.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just wanted to ask, West Ashley Park's got 2 playgrounds on it, of course, one near the baseball fields, which is in pretty good shape. How long has it been? Is that one on our list to be improved, the one near the soccer fields? And sorry.
See, those are listed. Sorry. Baseball was 2004 and soccer was 2000.
Okay.
So those are.
I was going to say, I know that both of my girls, one of them is 30 years old now, played on that when she was 5 years old, on that same piece of equipment. And both of my girls did, but, it's probably, there's probably not a more used playground than those on that soccer field right there with the number of soccer players we have, both spring and fall, on there. So, I'd appreciate if they could be listed. So,
Yep, they're on the list in the inventory, so we'll keep an eye on them.
all right, thank you.
Last comments on item A? All right, moving on to B, and that was my request on that one was just an update. So the Allen Fleming tennis courts on Johns Island, I know we just had them resurfaced. I think, forget when it was, last spring or summer, if not mistaken. And there was a constituent that sent me some pictures of some it's already cracking in certain areas.
Mm.
So just wanted to ask about that.
Yeah, so this is a very common observation, and it's common in the industry where you have older courts that may not be so old, but if it's asphalt and there's some cracks that form in the asphalt, we do an annual resurfacing project, and it can be within a week or within a month that those cracks will reappear. And it's not until we identify them as safety hazards that it really becomes a concern of replacement. So we have lots of old courts in and around the city. They're all in an inventory, and the needs are prevalent. So that one in particular, again, the cracks will reform. It's not a contractor issue. It's not a quality of construction of the resurfacing. It's just something that happens across the world in court resurfacing.
From the contractor or anything to pay for repairs and those kind of repairs?
As far as the contractor that did the resurfacing,
Yeah.
no, it's again, we know it happens. Everybody knows it happens, and it's not a warranty issue. You can add a crack repair tape under the paint, but that in itself then fails at a certain point too. So really, as long as the cracks aren't heaved and trip hazards from an accessibility point of view, they're traditionally okay to play on.
So just for clarity, it sounds like in order to have it not crack in a lot of these conditions, you'd have to redo the entire court and have more of a monolithic slab and modern concrete and the like. And even that would be a matter of time before it would start to crack.
That's right.
But the paint or the resurfacing, which in essence is a thick paint, is ultimately going to show through cracks.
Yeah, and we do still have some courts left from the 60s and 70s that are in much worse states of repair than others, and we have been able to replace them every now and again when those issues become prohibitive to play.
But to restate what I think you're saying is, we do regular resurfacing of all our courts, and if the resurfacing is over a foundation that itself is cracked, that crack is eventually going to kind of make its way through the resurfacing more prevalently.
That's right. It can be a week or a month, but it will resurface.
Okay.
Councilmember McBride, when we look at the courts, we always work with the Parks Department to measure the linear square feet of what needs what's called an armor crack repair. And it is like Jason said, it's a heavy tape. And that goes on those portions. It helps hold things together. But I don't have a tennis court anywhere in our 89 court inventory, with the exception of our 6 clay courts, that don't have some type of cracks. It just happens.
Appreciate that. Any other comments on that one? If not, we'll go to item C, this is something I also requested update on the city's recreation commission. And the purpose for this is partly because we have new members on the committee and on the council. And I just kind of wanted to ask the staff there to just kind of just help us all understand the interface or the complementary relationship between this committee and the Recreation Commission, or if they're supposed to be completely separate, or just what the commission's purpose is. And I guess offline, I just want to make sure that the new council members know who their representatives are in their districts.
Sure. So I can share that list with you all after this meeting. I didn't bring it, but we have 10 people that have been appointed to this rec committee. We had a meeting January the 26th and 9 of 10 members showed up for it, which was great in person. They all seemed very interested and were from all areas of our city. So that was great to have representation from all areas. Most of the members have either children in our program, it came to, or they have some type of interest in our program themselves, either through a sport they play or something like that. So they all were very wide-eyed, asked a lot of questions. I was there along with Mr. Kronsberg's Deputy Director Clark DeKansas, who was there. We gave them an overview of each of the two departments, both Recreation and Parks, told them kind of how we do things, gave them an overview of our calendar and what's going on, and allowed them to all introduce themselves and ask questions and talk. And so the next meeting will be in April. They have all followed up with a couple questions, but they're very interested in how they can help. So my suggestion to them was to go back and look at the parks and facilities within their own area, talk to friends about different programs they may not be aware of, and that maybe they could begin to have some ideas to come back to the city council members in the area about what the needs are in their district. Kind of to your point, council member, with the Brittle Bank. So that would be the best thing. I mean, I don't think having them all show up with picket signs at your budget meeting saying more to recreation is kind of what I need to do. But I think they're all very interested in seeing how they can kind of lift the conversation to make sure that Parks and Recreation always stays in there. I think these people are very, very committed to Parks and Recreation. So I was happy to meet with them. It was a great meeting, and a couple have already reached back out and said anything they can do, let them know. So.
And if I may, Mr. Chairman, I mean, again, the committees that we have, the commissions that we have, are there to advise and counsel, right? Give recommendations to us for us to consider, and be liaisons to the community. And the Rec Commission in particular has an interesting history in that it I think frankly did a lot more prior to this being a standing committee of city council. I don't know when that happened, 10, 15 years ago. Rec became a standing committee for city council. And so the Rec Commission itself at that point then moved to more of an advisory role. And I believe that is it a district-based position? No?
Each city council member can put one person
Right.
on. Yes, sir.
So that's how it's, it's nice that it's broken up geographically. And I'll conclude by saying that we are looking at all of our commissions. We're going to have a recommendation, for example, that just came out of rules that will be at city council about the Arts Commission to change the makeup of that so that it is just a little bit different, which you'll hear a little bit more about. But I would just say to any council members, if their ideas or thoughts related to the various commissions and boards that we have that you would like to see updated or potentially tweaked, we're going through a deep dive on that now, and welcome any and all questions and comments.
Thanks for that, Mayor. Yeah, and just for the new council members, just kind of wanted to have Ms. Yarborough just give an overview of what this commission is, and encourage you to reach out to your current appointees to that commission. And I know that in my case, my appointee will definitely help take some of the load off of just helping to coordinate and get community, as the mayor said, just get community feedback as to the things they want in District 3. So that'd be very helpful. So it looks like they meet quarterly. I'm looking at the bylaws right now, quarterly or as needed.
Yes, sir. Our next meeting is scheduled for April 27th. And so, yes, we will be meeting quarterly. And I think the mayor did a great job of saying that, yeah, this is an advisory group. They know their advisory. And we talk very much about that. But it's nice when we want input and we don't have a contact in a community or an area. It's great to have that so we can reach, Jason and I could reach out immediately and make contact. So we're happy to have this group back up.
Hopefully. Okay, that's the last item. Anything else from anybody else?
Just briefly, Councilmember McBride, if you haven't seen it, the buffer planting is completed today out at Allen Fleming Tennis. So, milestones.
So those trees will grow and
They will
replace
grow.
the shade that was removed event over time.
It's all natives. It's 26 red cedars, 8 magnolias, 7 live oaks, 52
Nice.
viburnums, and 15 wax myrtles. So
Outstanding. I'm gonna go check it out. I appreciate the update.
Well, Mr. Chairman, let me ask one thing. Just, I guess maybe planting a seed, Mr. Kronsberg, as you, exit from the city and take on a new challenge. If you have any constructive advice on how to better fund recreation going forward, please let us know. Because obviously, we as a city need help in that. We big growing city. Our recreational facility got woefully behind, just like our maintenance got woefully behind in drainage and flooding and all that kind of stuff. We're trying to play catch up. So if you've seen any best practices around the country that you read about or colleagues have shared that we're not using here, please let us know. I mean, not today, but not today, but
Make a list.
absolutely.
thank you.
Can I add one more comment? There was an email note from a parent on James Island that was on everyone's desk. That was here from James Island Swim Team, which is our seasonal summer team that swims in the CCA. It's a city pool, city team. We have a city coach, but we've had several iterations of conversations about how to best register for that. And Councilmember Saccone was a part of the conversation here at the end of it. But we did have a meeting on Wednesday early in the morning and sat down with the reps from that group and came up with a plan going forward that made everybody happy. So we will allow families that have swam with the team at least 3 years and siblings to sign. They have a week to sign up, and then after that, it'll open up to new families. We're not going to do a lottery system because everybody's afraid of the lottery. So instead, they've chosen to either stand out in line or try to register online and hope their computer goes through. So, but it seemed like all the parents were happier with that, and the hill that I die on will not be that one. So we think we've got that squared. I just wanted to make sure I addressed that.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, go ahead.
is that the only city swim team?
That's a great question. So we have our year-round swim team, which is the SMART team that trains year-round. And there's about 330 members of that. It is both a financial and a time commitment for families. And we also, right now, we're only swimming at MLK Pool downtown, and we're renting some pool space from St. Andrew's Family Fitness in West Ashley. That's not a great choice for some families, council member. If you live on Daniel Island, that's a commute. So as we get our new pool built on Johns Island and we rebuild the W.L. Stevens pool, make it year-round again, we are going to be offering seasonal swim programs for families that just want to swim those couple of months while school's out. They want to try several sports. That's not as big a time commitment. So yes, the answer to that question is we are going to be looking at that as soon as I've got the water.
Thanks,
Uh,
everybody. Oh, go
but-
ahead, Councilman Waring.
Just say thanks, before you get out the door, Mr. Crosby, could you give a quick update on W.L. Stevens? I should have said that on the old business, but anyway, Mr. Chairman, my apologies.
All good.
Yes. Give me 1 second. I'll give you the general scheduling parameters right now. So let's see. So design development, 100% design development will be March 30th. Moving into construction documents, which will be due in July. We'll continue to push hard to get those moved up in the schedule. Anticipated construction looks to start end of July 26, assuming we get through all of our permitting and other processes accordingly, with substantial completion anticipated in early 28.
Sounds good. So we do have a number that we have agreed on. We have a bid.
Well, we have the construction manager at risk that's
Right.
working with the design team on the pre-construction services contract. Once we get through construction documents and final permitting, we will have a final price that will come back to city council for approval.
All right, good deal. Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.